Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the fields here at Southern Virginia University for your women's soccer matchup between the Frostburg Bobcats and your Southern Virginia Knights. Southern Virginia Knights entering the last game of their conference season and their last home game. Thank you for joining us here on this senior night where we will be recognizing this season's seniors as well. The Knights coming off a pretty tough loss this last weekend to York, falling 2-0. York, a very talented team as well, and then winning over Marymount on Wednesday the 18th. On the other side, Frostburg having a pretty good regular conference season, beating Salisbury 1-0 in their matchup on the 21st this last Saturday, and then beating Penn State Harrisburg before as well. So should be a pretty interesting matchup today. I'm Sam Horman. I'm joined today by Nash Jones. Nash, what are we expecting from the women's soccer team today?
Well, Sam, I think today the women are going to get their work cut out for them. This is a tough team Frostburg's got coming in. Should be a really good matchup for the Knights. Frostburg coming into this game 6-1-1, as you said, and coming off a 4-game win streak, which is pretty well here in conference play. Last time out, obviously, the Knights did lose a tough loss to York, but we should see a good game from all our seniors that we're so very lucky to have, and should be a good game. I expect to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Knights definitely going to have to watch out for Brooke Shahady from the Frostburg Bobcats. She has 9 goals on the season, so half the team's goals have come from one player. She also leads the Bobcats in shots on goal and shots. So definitely the attacking player to watch out for, Brooke Shahady leading the attack for the Bobcats. On the other end, the Knights with Allie Rigby with 7 goals on the season, Cora Jewel with 5, and then a smattering of other players with quite a few goals as well. We've seen a pretty good connection from Taylor Mercer and Cora Jewel. In games past, I think we can expect, especially as Cora Jewel in her last home game as a senior, definitely trying to step up today. So I think we've seen the Knights definitely are able to, come out of games where maybe they're not the favorite going in, but they're able to put a strong performance together and get some goals on some teams that surprised them. Scored against Christopher Newport, one of the best teams in the country, ranked 9th at the time, and had only given up 8 goals on the season, and they were able to get a goal against them. So who knows what the Knights are going to be able to come up with tonight. Obviously, Frostburg leading in the conference as well. They are only behind the undefeated Christopher Newport. So, as you mentioned, the Knights definitely have their work cut out for them. But let's see what they bring to the field today. Should mention as well, it's a little bit of a chilly day today, so I think that may be affecting some of the players', muscles obviously, but some of the mentality as well. Sometimes settling a ball with the thigh can be a little bit less appealing when it's going to hurt a little bit more than usual. So should be noted, it's a little bit chilly today as well. Both teams trying to just maintain the possession originally, but now the Knights will have their first throw into the game.
I think we can see a big game too from Meredith Ouellette. She leads the team with 44 saves. She's having a really great year this year. And I think you'll see Frostburg put a lot of goals on her, I think, if they get down in the attacking third. But Meredith does a really good job down there, so I think we should expect to see a big game from her too.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it should be noted as well, Frostburg, not a very high-scoring team. They only have 19 goals on the season, but they've also only given up 19. So really they've had some fairly low-scoring games. They haven't really gotten blown out or, blown anybody out. Really, the most they've scored in a game is 3, and the most they've been scored on is 4 at Christopher Newport. So really a fairly low-scoring team. They definitely do have players that can score, a very talented attack, but, pretty controlled offense from them. And, the Knights, on the other hand, very similar, really. Both teams averaging, Frostburg averaging 1.19 goals a game, and then the Knights with 1.4 goals a game. So pretty close in that regard, both averaging about the same amount of shots as well. So, on paper, there's a lot to say these two teams, are quite competitive with each other. So we'll just see who brings the better team today, though. Bobcats get a pretty good attack into the box, but Ouellette able to come off of her line and scoop that one up. Long kick downfield in the direction of McCall Jensen. Now the Bobcats bringing it up the sideline. Unable to control that one. The Knights have a throw in. See number 20, Cyan Smith, taking care of the throw in there. Ooh. Cora Jewel involved in a little bit of a collision there with Jesse Dunnigan, it looked like. Now Frostburg will have a free kick.
Yeah, Cora getting in on that. Kind of looked like it might have gave her a little bit of a, not an intentional headbutt, but it looks like they might have connected heads on that.
Yeah, that's not a good time, I can tell you that right now.
Especially in the cold.
Knights trying to settle, bring the ball out of their defense. Allie Rigby getting on the corner, doing a good job. She's done really quite well for the Knights this year, getting the ball up and down the line and maintaining possession. It's been very dangerous in the attack. Now the Bobcats looking for a through ball, unable to connect, and now the Knights just play that one out. Concede a throw in. Allie Rigby keeping the pressure on in the corner.
Yeah, as we talk about Allie only being a freshman from Rexburg, Idaho, coming from Madison High School, where she did really well there too. But she's adapted really well to the Southern Virginia team and really just had a breakout season for her freshman year.
Absolutely, and this weather pretty similar to the Idaho weather that she played in. I can definitely tell you this is a nice Idaho day right here, so she's ready for some soccer. Long shot from the Bobcats. Willett able to push that up over the crossbar, but a 30-yard shot from the Bobcats, striking early within 5 minutes, putting the pressure on Meredith Willett.
Yeah, Bobcats doing a good job there. That was a great shot, but as we were talking about earlier, Meredith doing a great job back there, timing her jump just right, timing her punch, doing a good job.
Looks like the ball was punched over the other side of the goal, and so the corner will have to be taken from the correct side. Pretty difficult to tell on that one, but the ref has a better angle. Ball comes in towards the middle of the box. Nobody able to get ahead on it, and now it just falls off the sideline. Be a throw-in. Allie Rigby trying to kick it over her head towards Cora Jewel. Mercer trying to come out with the ball. Now Jewel able to turn it around for the Knights. Looking upfield quickly. Now Clarissa Barton keeping pressure on for the Knights. Bobcats play it down into the corner. Going to be a tough foot race against Ann Powell yet again. A lot of teams try that early in the game and then realize that Ann Powell's very quick, very solid defensive anchor for the Knights, so pretty tough to try to keep her out. Bobcats cross the ball in towards the box. Nobody there on the back post. Now try another cross from the other side. Knights able to get the first head on that.
Frostburg really putting the pressure on the Knights here in the first 12 minutes of the game. Oh, 7 minutes of the game.
Even earlier than that.
My bad.
45-minute halves we're playing here today. Ball comes into the box. Willett comes off her line, and the Bobcats take a shot, and it goes just wide of the goal. Willett able to keep the pressure on there and not allow a clean shot to get off. Good job closing down the gap on that one.
I think Meredith might have came in on that one and may have just hit the ball a little bit too, got her hand on it. Doing a good job back there.
It's like number 20, Danielle Faris, taking the shot for the Bobcats, pushing that one just wide. But now the Bobcats again bringing pressure down into the corner. Looking for a cross, puts a couple good moves on, not able to get the cross in, and Powell able to step in front of that one. Bobcats will have another corner. Ball goes towards the top of the 18. Couple players in the area. Willett able to call off her back line and just take control of that one.
Frostburg getting that. That was kind of a high corner kick. I think that was a lot better for the Knights, giving the Knights time to set up.
Yeah, you can see the play was just to try to put about 2 or 3 players at the top of the box. You've seen they're pretty comfortable taking a shot from range, and a volley in particular would have been incredibly difficult there, so may want to try to settle that one. Interesting to see what they'll run on corners moving forward. Mercer able to get a good steal and now brings the ball downfield for the Knights. Unable to connect with Barton on that one, and now the Frostburg Bobcats try to bring the ball out of their defense. Great fake there, Emma Landy working the ball, keeping the possession for the Knights. We do see a lot of contact there with Landy, but the ref elects to play advantage. The Knights do have an opportunity to move forward, but ball just ends up in the hands of the goalkeeper, unfortunately. Emily Faust between the posts for the Bobcats tonight.
A little more contact there. And
good
nice
opportunity for the Knights here. They've got even numbers. Just unfortunately unable to open up the space there and get behind the back line, but they had a 4-on-4 there. Pretty good opportunity. Rigby able to keep the pressure on that one. The Bobcats just to have a throw in.
Yeah, as we talk about the weather here too, you know, it's kind of tough when you're wearing just shorts and a jersey t-shirt, but when you're falling on the turf and sliding, that hurts a lot more when it's cold rather than having the turf heat up.
Yeah, there's definitely some truth to that. It affects the game so much just from a mental aspect as well, because you are less inclined to maybe go for that slide tackle or, you know, whatever the play may be, because you do know that the skin's a little bit tougher when it's cold like that, so it can hurt just a little bit more. Both teams trying to settle the ball for possession here. Rigby comes out with it. Now the Knights will have a throw in just past midfield. Now the Bobcats trying to just play the ball over the top. Will that force just clear that one back towards mid? Kylie Auger comes away with the ball, but then can't hold on to the possession. Now the Bobcats again attacking down that far side into the corner. They've been pretty consistently trying to get down into there. Seen some interesting spacing here from the Bobcats. They're two strikers up at the top, usually really far apart. A lot of times you'll see them try to play a little bit closer together, but the Bobcat strategy does seem to be keep the space really far and then spread the back line of the Knights, play down into the corner, and then have quite a few runs go into the middle of the box and then try to get a cross in. So the Bobcats really trying to run their strategy here. The Knights so far not really able to get the possession to really build their strategy the way they would have liked. Usually try to play the possession game, but Bobcats very good at passing the ball around. As you can see here, working the ball into the corner again. And Powell quickly out for that one.
Yeah, the Bobcats doing a good job. They're keeping that ball down on this side of the field. Knights only being down on their end of the field only a couple times.
On the offsides call against the Bobcats. Landy again taking a big hit there. Bobcats with another shot towards goal. Willette able to keep her hands on that one and keep it in bounds. Bobcats with another good shot towards the goal, trying to get that near post in the upper side. Call Jensen trying to settle the ball now for the Knights. Another long cross over the top trying to come in. Willette again. Pretty easy to come off her line for that one. Cora Jewel able to step in front and steal that one away on a long pass from the Bobcats back line. Brings it pretty far into the corner. will have a call against Cora Jewel there. A lot of contact going on as the ball is moving downfield. Reflecting that Jewel had the most contact.
Knights having a great opportunity right now to put some pressure here on the goalie.
Auger with the first shot of the game. Goes right towards the goalie, but Kylie Auger definitely stepping up for the Knights. The Bobcats just giving her too much space and really testing Emily Faust early. Rigby trying to find Jensen there, unable to do so. See the Bobcats doing a good job maintaining their spacing when they do get the ball. Able to try to connect a few passes. I see another long through ball coming over the top. Bobcats trying to get another opportunity on that near post. Knights back line doing a good job stepping up. Bobcats take the throw in quickly. Looking for a cross in. Gets past one Knight defender, but then is cleared out. Bobcats forced to move the ball back. Knights doing a good job keeping the pressure on there.
Defense doing a good job of getting in front of that ball, trying to get that ball through the middle up to the front line.
Throw in taken quickly down into the corner. Bobcats again moving the ball into the center. I think the Knights have recognized that, and Allie Rigby able to step in front of that one. Now the Knights will have a throw in at midfield. Knights working the ball around in the defense, trying to just build up a little bit of possession, something we haven't seen too much from of them in the first half, so it's a good idea to try to just settle it down here. Don't let Frostburg just run the game, but really try to work in your own style. Coach Cox has done a good job all year of keeping him in the game regardless of how it's gone at any point. So, you do want to see him settle down, start to connect a few passes here.
Knights really needing to push down to that attacking third. I think the Knights have a really strong spot on their corner kicks. As we've seen in games before, Taylor Mercer and Cora Jewel have come up with goals from the corner kicks a few times this year. So hopefully the Knights can get down there, hopefully get some corner kicks. Haven't gotten one yet this game, but
they have been very dangerous on the corner kicks. They've done quite well in many different aspects, usually Mercer to Jewel, as you mentioned, but they do have quite a few other players that get involved. As we just saw, Clarissa Barton conceding a free kick there for the Bobcats, but she's been really good, and not necessarily on corner kicks per se, but getting the ball into the corner and then finding a good cross as well. So, yeah, as you mentioned, the Knights definitely have their attacking threats, but so far the Bobcats really are maintaining their status in this game.
The Bobcats are a really well-coached team. They're coached by Brian Parker, who's in the 16th season here. His first season went back in '92. He does have two. He has Glenn Butler as one of his assistants in his second season, and has his another assistant, Jennifer Nance, she's in her first season. But, he's a well-experienced coach who probably knows what he's talking about a little bit. And, that's probably why Frostburg's done really well this year.
Yeah, absolutely. He's worked the program up, and now currently are second in the Capital Athletic Conference. On the other side, Coach Cox, only in her second year here at Southern Virginia University. She was a player here, did quite well as a goalie. Currently still holds the record for most saves as a Southern Virginia goalie. Knights getting really close to building something there. Unable to connect with Mercer on the pass. Cyan Smith coming up from the defense, though, to keep the possession for the Knights. Bobcats giving her space into the box. Now we see Mercer in the corner. And they are able to get the corner out of it, so this is a good attacking opportunity here for the Knights. Mercer recognizing, doing a good job. They have connected so well this season, so hopefully they can really build something here. Ball comes in towards the far post. Cora Jewel the target there, unable to connect. Bobcats have two players on here recognizing the danger. Mercer, another cross in towards the box. That may have actually been an intended shot. Just came off the outside of her foot there. Not able to connect the way she would have liked, and now the Bobcats will have a throw in.
The Knights doing a really good job right there. Getting down. Taylor Mercer had a really good cross in. Just Frostburg really finding their way into that. Heading that ball out. And then Taylor just getting that shot. Just obviously is just off the side of her foot, it looked like.
Yeah, I'm sure if you've seen any film at all, you definitely know the Knights are very dangerous on the corners. So Cora Jewel, the player to mark there. And Powell comes over and tries to clear it out for the Knights. Now Landy with the ball over the top, trying to look for possibly McCall Jensen there. Bobcats have a throw in. Knights will concede a free kick. Look like Emma Landy again in on the contact. She's had a pretty active game so far. Now the Knights come out with possession and have a good opportunity outfield. Looking for Rigby down in the corner again, but she's had a pretty tough battle all game. Going up against number 6, Leah Kelly. Experienced senior for the Bobcats, so Rigby and Kelly definitely having a pretty good matchup over here on the near sideline. Knights make their first substitution of the game. Cora Jewel trying to cross the ball in towards the center. Unable to connect with any Knights in the area. Bounces over the Bobcat players. They do come out with the possession and look quickly upfield, try to get a ball over the top again. That ball just played too long. Ends up in the hands of Woolette.
The score may be 0-0, but, the Knights are doing a really good job so far this game. Only 22 minutes left, but doing a really good job of when Frostburg gets down there attacking third, keeping that ball out, getting the ball out pretty fast, actually. They don't let that ball sit down there too long. And now they're doing a really good job of staying down on their side of the field.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it took them a few minutes to kind of get settled down. Frostburg did come out pretty strong, had a pretty good attack, and as they recognize they've done quite well this season, so maybe playing the cautious game a little bit. But now it seems like they've kind of settled down and gotten a little more comfortable and able to work the ball around, and you see a pretty good possession down in the attacking third, as you mentioned. So good to see the Knights starting to settle down here. A lot of soccer left to be played. Cyan Smith trying to Quick defender move there. Bobcats come out with it. Take a shot at goal. Willette plays that one perfectly. Long kick headed towards Rigby. Ball cleared well out of the box. Ends up in the hands of Emily Faust. Ball's kicked off Airdrie Palmer there, and now the Bobcats will have a throw in at their own. And the Bobcats play the ball down into the corner, trying to wait long enough to get some more people in the box. But waited too long, and Powell able to just get on top of that one. Cross in towards the middle. That's really most of the Knights' work tonight has just been deflecting those crosses in towards the middle or balls over the top. Bobcats trying to make a pretty good run into the corner again. The Knights defense not able to turn fast enough on that one. You can see the free kick about 25 yards out.
You know, I think you look for a big kick here from Frostburg, as you've seen before, having like 30-yard shots on goal. I think you look for them to set up right at the top of the key or the top of the box.
Ball comes in towards the middle of the box. Headed back towards the back post. Nobody really in the area. The Knights come away with a goal kick. Not totally sure what the plan was on that one. Seemed like they may have been trying to run someone towards the back post, but whoever it was not aware of that. So Knights will just come out with a goal kick. Bobcats making another good run. Knights again able to clear that one out. Mercer trying to fancy back heel there. Connects with Jewel. Plays it down in towards Rigby. Rigby opens up the space for the Knights and now brings the ball in towards the box. That touched just a little bit too far, and the Bobcats are able to clear that one away, but Rigby with a great opportunity there for the Knights. Throw in taken quickly. Airdrie Palmer now in the corner. Crosses it in. Ball kicked around just a little bit. Now the Knights have a throw in deep in the attacking third here. Cyan Smith with the throw in for the Knights here. Finds Jewel in the box. Tries to turn in towards the middle. Ball comes out towards Landy, who takes a shot from long range. Knights keeping the pressure on here. Mercer takes a shot at goal. And that'll do it for the Knights' attack there. Emily Faust putting an end to that one. But the Knights with a couple good opportunities there from a variety of angles.
You know, Sam, I don't know a whole lot about soccer, but I mean, I can just guess from being a former high school punter from Utah. When you're punting, the ball gets really hard when it's cold, and I figure the same thing happens when soccer happens, and it's really hard to kick. And so I expect the same thing happening right now. Maybe the girls having a tough time with the ball, being a little bit harder, not being able to direct their shots as well.
You know, there is an element of truth that I think more, comparatively with the football, the soccer ball doesn't freeze up as much, but the cleats do, interestingly. So the cleats that they're playing with are a lot thinner than football cleats. Oh, good opportunity here for the Knights. Couple of opportunities in the box, and it's pushed up over the crossbar. Cora Jewel with another good shot on goal there. Knights almost come away with another one, but they do have a corner opportunity here.
I think if you're watching from home right now, it's about time to sit up in your seat right now, and I think you'll see something exciting happen right about now.
This is the opportunity the Knights are looking for.
See Clarissa running down right there.
A lot of players in the box. Not able to connect and get the direction they wanted out of that, and the Bobcats will come away with their goal kick. But to get back to your point that you were making, it is true, the colder it gets, I think a lot of times the cleats don't warm up as much, and so sometimes, you go for those fancy kicks, like, some curve on the free kick or, a more complicated swerve type shot, and it's just a little bit harder, so sometimes you just have to be more direct with your shooting rather than trying to get fancy. But there is an element of the cold at play always. And
you could say the same for passing, too, like as we saw kind of coming down, Allie letting that ball kind of get away from her, just touching it a little bit too much. I don't know if that maybe had some effect on it, too, but
especially with the turf, as you mentioned, the turf is very different as well. So sometimes the ball just, bounces a little bit different. The spin on the turf isn't quite the same as well. So, the cold definitely does affect things. I think you're definitely right. And I couldn't really say either team benefiting more from that, but obviously Southern Virginia playing on this field much more regularly, probably more used to it. So, hopefully they can find a way to use that to their advantage. Ooh, Cora Jewel with a great move there to open up the field for the Knights. Plays it into the middle. Rigby at the top of the box takes a shot. Bobcats step in front of that one. But now Jewel again. Auger makes a move towards the center. Now Jewel with a long-range shot. And as we see from the crowd, 3 points awarded for the field goal.
I think Jackson Hatch should keep his eyes open. There might be a new player coming on to kick those field goals.
Cora Jewel coming for his job. We'll see him in the second half doing a little commentary here, so we may need to warn him. Looked like she had some pretty good power on that one. That one might have been good from 45. Bobcats struggling to clear the ball out of their own defense now. Seen the momentum really shift here in the second half of this half, and the Knights really doing a good job keeping the pressure down. Airdrie Palmer able to get the ball away there. You can see the Knights build the attack. Bobcats forced to just clear that one away. Smart plays. That's the first clearance they've really had in a while. Good switch of play from the Knights, and now the field again opens up. They have a lot of space ahead of them. Bobcats defense a little bit on their heels here. I think Mercer pretty upset with the contact on that one. Really, at least wanted the throw in. You can see number 23, Alyssa Malinik, keeping the pressure on, not making it easy to get the pass off. But now we will have a free kick for the Bobcats.
May be a little bit of chippiness out there. Maybe it's the cold getting to him a little bit, but definitely seeing a lot of contact here in the first half.
Yeah, both of these teams pretty late in the season, so these games, pretty important, especially for Frostburg moving ahead. It could mean the difference in seeding in the tournament. The Knights as well, 7th in the Capital Athletic Conference currently, so still trying to get out a couple more wins here. Both of these teams, as we've seen this entire season, very competitive, very, very physical players on both sides. Haven't really seen too many cards. Frostburg yet to get a card on the season, actually. The Knights have earned a couple. Frostburg State without a yellow or a red card this entire season. That is a stat you don't see too often.
As we talked about earlier, Coach Brian Parker here in his 16th season, he coaches his girls well. Hard work and discipline, and it's taken into effect this season for them. Obviously not receiving any cards and being second in the Capital Athletic Conference, but great job for Frostburg, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the Knights, Cora Jewel, the only player to have received a card this season. Just one, but I believe it was for a pretty good, well, it was sort of a repeated slide tackle. She does have some pretty good defensive ability, so she's not afraid to slide tackle. Bobcats with an opportunity here, get the ball at the top of the box, take a shot towards Roulette, and they put it on the near post. Roulette caught off of her line there, tries to come out for it. Ball hadn't entered the 18 yet, so she was kind of caught in the middle, not really sure what to do. That one's so tough to try to play.
Yeah, that was tough for Meredith right there. She came out hoping that ball was going to maybe roll a little bit more so she could hurry and grab that. The Bobcats just able to kind of get it away from her and then able to get it back. And Meredith not able to get back on her line as quick as she would have liked to.
Yeah, that's a real tough to try to backpedal back into the goal because you have to stay facing the ball. So really tough transition to try to make there. Bobcats doing a good job from a little bit of range, just putting the ball on the near post. Not a particularly difficult shot, but just placing it in the right spot, and they take a 1-0 lead.
You know, the Knights having a kind of a, like, I wouldn't call those, I don't know, you wouldn't give those earned goals, I would think. Those are little things that the Knights could work on, and they've had a few things like that happen this year. Playing Mary Washington earlier in the year. No, not Mary Washington, St. Mary's, and winning that whole game, and then just getting down to the last couple minutes, and just having an unfortunate own goal roll in. Just small things like that, keeping them away from getting a couple of wins.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is just those, little tiny things that add up on the season. So it is, definitely earned by the Bobcats, obviously putting it in the back of the net. But, hard to say that the build-up was there and the progression was there. It was just, kind of caught Roulette off her line a little bit, caught in the middle. And so Bobcats do come away with the point. But as you mentioned, the Knights have definitely, come back strong in a few games this season as well. They've done a really good job in this half even to try to build things. See, trying to get the ball in towards the center there. Auger with an opportunity for a shot, puts it towards the near post. Will go just a little bit wide. Now the Bobcats will have a goal kick. Now we see number 23, Alyssa Malinik, taking the goal kicks for the Bobcats. And Powell stepping in front there. Doing a good job, but the Bobcats do maintain possession. You can see trying to target that sideline. Now they play the ball in towards the center. And it will roll off the end line for a Knights goal kick. Now Bobcats begin their possession just behind midfield. Long pass will result in a nice throw-in. Knights trying to just push the ball downfield, get another throw-in about 40 yards out from their previous one.
Knights really needing to look to get down closer to that goal box. Maybe get some shots on goal here in the last 7.5 minutes. Looking to tie this game up.
Knights traditionally have done pretty well, within the closing minutes of the halves as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do have a pretty good attack here. They have gotten quite a few goals within the last 5 minutes of a half even, so they definitely do keep playing all the way until the whistles. Knights do come away with possession. Bring the ball in towards the box. Not able to connect with Rigby on that one, but Jewel again, 35 yards out, taking a long-range shot. Now the Bobcats try to work the ball downfield. The Knights stepping in front quickly, and they will be awarded a throw-in just before the midfield line. Jewel and Mercer bring the ball down together. Mercer looking ahead for Clarissa Barton, and now Rigby comes out with the ball and takes a hit from behind, and the Knights will have a very good free kick opportunity right in the middle of the field. I would definitely expect a shot here.
Yeah, this is a great spot here for the Knights.
About 25 yards out. Mercer on the ball for the Knights here.
You know, if anybody can make this shot, it's Taylor. I'd expect to see a really good shot here.
Yeah, I'm shooting this towards the far post, just try to get it up over the wall. She does do so. A little bit too high over the wall on that one. Again, as I mentioned earlier, not able to get the complicated shots on cold days like this sometimes. The curve just isn't there. You can see the ball was spinning, like she's trying to bring it in towards that near post, towards the far post rather, but just not able to, control the ball quite as well in days like today. So Knights continue their pressure though. Well, the Bobcats have a throw-in. Taken quickly.
You know, as we talk about Taylor being a sophomore from Gainesville, Florida, so, maybe she's never really particularly played in this kind of weather because, it's pretty warm down in Florida. I'd expect to be I wouldn't expect it to get under 65 degrees, but tonight's a little bit colder than that. So
yeah, I think so, and I think that's a little bit apparent as well. If you look at Rigby, she's got the black Under Armour top and bottom as well, and Idaho native, pretty comfortable in that sort of wear, and then Mercer from Florida, a simple headband by choice, so definitely different comfort styles as far as temperature. So Southern Virginia really bringing a lot of players from a lot of different places together, but the comfort levels of each are definitely at different levels.
And that's another thing you'll see from Southern Virginia versus schools out here in the East. You won't see a lot of schools that we play bringing players from the middle, or not the middle, the West Coast.
The West, yeah.
Not there. I don't think there is a Middle Coast. So
maybe the Midwest. We can give you that.
We'll say that, but
not to be confused with the Middle East. That's very different.
That is very different. But you'll see players from Utah, California, Idaho, Wyoming, Arizona, Oklahoma. Just all over the place. And then you look at other teams, and most of them are from Maryland, Virginia, kind of around, more used to the area. But,
absolutely.
But that's what makes Southern Virginia that much great, I guess.
Yeah, definitely unique in that regard. Coach Cox definitely has to bring together quite a few different playing styles and playing levels as well. Most of these players obviously played high school and club, and any opportunity they had, indoor travel, whatever it may have been in their respective area. But that is a a lot of the preseason is spent, trying to just bring together the different styles and figure out what strengths each player has. And I think Coach Cox has done a good job in recognizing that, and you've seen their team culture really built a lot this year. So I think they've done a good job in recognizing as well when to substitute certain players, when to, try to bring different tactics onto the field, different styles, and really she's done a pretty good job keeping a fairly consistent roster for what they need each year. So definitely one of the challenges of coaching wherever is, team unity. But when the players are from different areas, it does complicate it just a little bit. So,
and that's not just for soccer either. I think every sport here at Southern Virginia is, I would say the majority comes from Utah and Arizona, but it's a very diverse place here at Southern Virginia, and it's very well known that we come from different places.
Absolutely. Oh, the Knights with a good opportunity here, bringing some numbers up. You see Rigby in the middle of the field with the ball, got wings on either side, plays it over to Mercer. Oh, who tries to get it back in towards Rigby, unable to do so, but Barton does come out with the ball. Takes a lot of contact, goes to the ground. The ref not seeing it, and now the Bobcats just clearing the ball out towards midfield. The Knights will have a throw-in. Not sure that pass was intended for anybody there. So Cyan Smith taking the throw-in there for the Knights. Bobcats trying to get one more opportunity here with only 30 seconds remaining in the half. Smith doing a good job taking some time there. Throw-in taken quickly towards Palmer. Was unable to clear it out. Now the Bobcats again trying to work the ball in towards the middle of the field. Play it out to the corner. May have one more cross here. They do cross towards the back post. Unable to connect on a pretty good opportunity, though. I think that'll bring us into the halftime with the Frostburg State Bobcats leading your Southern Virginia Knights 1-0. Now, if you're Coach Cox, though, you're not upset with the team. They've had a pretty good half. Did give up one goal, but really had a pretty good offensive attack there for a while. So, what's the halftime speech like?
As we talked about earlier, it's just those little things. Like, it's not the Knights have done a really good job on defense, doing a good job of keeping the ball out. As much as Frostburg is putting pressure on them, but it's just those little things that come back to bite us. But I think we're looking for a pretty similar second half. But Southern Virginia really needing to put a little bit more pressure, maybe taking advantage of those free kicks, those corner kicks, maybe set up a little better. I think she'll talk about it being cold, obviously, and you might need to, as you see on the sideline, a couple of the girls jumping around trying to stay warm. But I don't think you change a lot. But
I think you're absolutely right. It's really just the little things. I think they've done a pretty good job. They've been pretty consistent. Obviously, the ebb and flow of the game, has gone both ways. So I think the Knights have done pretty well. So it's really just addressing. I think the midfield. I think the structure is not quite there. That hasn't built those opportunities. So I think just some simple things, and I think Coach Cox will have a pretty good second half here. We'll go ahead and step away for a little bit. Go ahead and join us again in about 13 minutes for second half action. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the fields here at Southern Virginia University for this second half of the women's soccer matchup between the Frostburg Bobcats and your Southern Virginia Knights. The Knights unable to score in the first half. Frostburg putting one in with only a few minutes remaining in the half. But really, aside from that, the Knights had a pretty good first half. I'm joined now by Jackson Hatch, the other kicker on the football team. So, Jackson, what did you see in the first half?
Well, lots of good play from both sides. Pretty equal as far as shots on goal and things like that. It's been a good matchup so far. Fortunately, the Bobcats just slipped one past the Knights, but look forward to a good second half.
Yeah, absolutely. I think really it was a pretty even half. We did see both teams with a little bit of momentum. I think the Bobcats early did have a little bit more control, and then the Knights, took pretty good possession of the middle of the half, and then able to finish pretty strong. They did have quite a few opportunities, able to keep the pressure on for a good 10 minutes there, but just not able to finish. And I think that's been something that they've really wanted to work on all season. But it's so hard once you step out onto the field to just get the ball into the back of the net, and Frostburg able to do so first.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's been an issue is just settling for those long-range shots. I haven't seen too many shots inside the 18. Just getting a little trigger happy, I guess, and trying to take those long shots rather than playing it through the middle and trying to create something a little bit closer.
Yeah, despite the ball being in the 18 fairly frequently, they did have quite a few opportunities really with possession. The Bobcats doing a good job of keeping the pressure in front of them, but again, as you mentioned, the Knights really just kind of settling for some longer range shots when maybe working the ball in would have been a better option. Knights do come out with a good possession here, though. Mercer trying to stay on it. Now the Bobcats forced to just clear that one away. See Auger play it out to Rigby, and then Rigby back into Auger. Open up the field a little bit. Now Rigby bringing the ball down into the corner. Trying to work it back in towards the center. There are a few Knights in the area. Like an intended shot there, not quite on target, and now Bobcats again just clear the ball out. Looks like the Knights will have a throw in.
And there we go again. That's one that you'd at least want to take a touch on rather than trying to shoot that with your first touch. Maybe try and create some other opportunities or get a little bit better of a shot on frame if you're able to take a touch there.
Yeah, that's going to be a really impressive volley if you can get that one from a ball coming in from the side 20 yards out. So maybe, settling that one I think is a smart idea. But now the Bobcats with pressure of their own, bringing the ball into the attacking third, and Powell in a foot race here. Able to step in front. The Bobcats cross it into the center, get a shot, hits the post.
Looks like the flag went up for offsides a little bit before.
It's a dangerous opportunity there for the Bobcats, though. Got real close. I think the Knights back line discussing what happened there. They seem to be caught off guard just a little bit.
It looked like it was just a matter of miscommunication. Not really sure where each other were. Clarissa Barton getting in on the play. Unable to keep possession.
Now Mercer comes away with the ball for the Knights. Not able to get anything out of that, but again, still in the attacking third. Now the Bobcats just cleared away past midfield. And we see again McCall Jensen has entered the game. She did start the game and then was subbed off about 15 minutes in, so Coach Cox electing to put her out, maybe try to get a little bit more possession.
Knights have done a good job tonight of playing the ball through the middle a little bit more rather than down the flanks like they usually do. It's been pretty effective so far.
Yeah, and I think the Bobcats on the other side really trying to work the corners and the sidelines and then bring a few players into the middle. But the Knights have mostly stepped up and done a good job not allowing a cross to come through. The few opportunities they have, it has been quite dangerous, but I think the Knights really have figured out the game plan for Frostburg, just trying to keep it out of the corners if they can.
Bobcats back out on the attack. A long through ball down the side. And Powell covering. Frostburg's into the 18. Puts the ball across, and it's going to roll out.
It's a pretty scary ball, though. You don't want it making it all the way across the face of the goal and then having a player on the back post. Luckily, the Frostburg player was well behind the ball in that instance, but that is not something you want to concede too often. You're not going to come away with basically end up in the goalkeeper's hands too often on that.
Yeah, that's one of those ones you kind of just hold your breath and hope that nobody can get their foot on the end of that one.
Now Rigby bringing the ball downfield for the Knights, trying to connect with Mercer. Hits her in the heels, but she is able to come out with the possession here.
Trying to put a ball across. The Bobcats recover. Good defense by Barton, keeping the ball there. Maintaining possession deep for the Knights.
Now Jensen flicking the ball in towards the center. Mercer continues it. Auger in the area. Bobcats able to clear that one away. Now Rigby on the ball again for the Knights. Knights come away with possession again, and now Jewel bringing the ball in towards the center of the field. Now the Knights will have a throw-in. Knights looking in toward the center of the field again, but the Bobcats able to step in front of that one there. I think the Bobcats defense a little bit on their heels, though. Knights have done a pretty good job the second half of keeping the pressure on. Bobcats with another long ball over the top, now in a foot race with Ann Powell yet again. Somehow able to come out with it and get a shot towards Roulette. She's in the right position and is able to just keep that one in front of her. That's a pretty good save from very close range.
That's a big-time save, keeping the Knights in the game. Another goal there would have been big for the Bobcats.
Bobcats putting the moves on in the corner, trying to open up for the cross. They are able to cross it in towards the box, but nope. Bobcats in the area. Now they get another shot. Ends up in the hands of Roulette. Now the Bobcats definitely trying to answer with some pressure of their own.
For the first 6 or 7 minutes, all we saw was the pressure from the Knights. Bobcats are coming back strong. Rigby unable to hold onto the ball. Loses it in the middle. Almost a dangerous through ball for the Bobcats. Knights able to recover and clear the ball out.
Quite a few players getting touches on the ball here. See the contact, a lot of contact there too, but so far no penalties given. Now the Bobcats bringing the ball up the field again, trying to work it into the corner. They do have numbers in the middle. Another shot towards the near post, but Willette able to keep that one in front yet again. Great second half from her so far.
She's been super active and keeps finding herself in the right place. Good job by her making sure that her positioning is correct. So much of being a goalkeeper is just making sure you're in the right place.
Now Rigby bringing the ball up, trying to connect with Mercer. That pass is intercepted by the Bobcats, and now they're starting their own counter and move quickly downfield with some long passing. Played in towards the middle again. Nice force to just clear it out of the area. Bobcats again bringing the ball in towards the middle, taking a shot from pretty long range. Knight's able to just deflect that one out. Another long ball coming in. Ends up in the hands of Ouellette.
It'd be a Knights throwing off of the drop kick. Knights turnover on possession again. The Bobcats recover. Knights bringing it down the sideline. Ball across the top of the 18. Cleared away by the Bobcats, but still very dangerous for the Knights.
Looks like Jewel's settling for another long-range shot there. Not exactly what they want. It's not a bad idea. She does have the range from there, but it's just not the high percentage shot that they're looking for. Nice with another throw in here. Jensen trying an overhead kick to get into the box towards Mercer. Mercer, yeah. Mercer able to step in front of that one and not allow the ball to get cleared out of the attacking third there. Settle for a throw-in.
Bobcats were allowed to take, looks like 5 to 7 steps forward to throw the ball out of there. Unfortunate clearance on what should have been a good play by the Knights, pitting them deep. Bobcats playing the long through ball again, and Powell able to sweep that one away. Cross coming in for the Bobcats, cleared away.
Still in the area at the top of the box. Knights not able to clear that one, but it looks like they will have a handball.
I'll tell you what, Emma Landy has had a huge game for the Knights. Winning balls out of the air and making all the right steps at the right time. She's been critical for that back line. Knights turnover possession deep in their own third. And Melandi able to win that one again.
Now the Bobcats just trying to switch the point of attack. They'll have a throw in. Rigby trying to clear the ball downfield, unable to do so. Bobcats again working in the middle of the field. Good slide tackle in there by Cora Jewel. And another slide tackle to keep the ball away.
Good job by Jewel running down those two players. That's a long run.
It is her senior night, so she's definitely trying to, take as much opportunity as she can, regardless of what it is. This is her last time playing on this field, so she's going to play every minute she can.
Absolutely. That makes a big difference knowing that, this is the last chance you have to give it all you got.
Knights will make a substitution. Number 5, Alyssa Winterton comes on for McCall Jensen. Winterton getting her first touch of the game pretty quick.
Good job by Ann Powell winning that ball. That was very dangerous. Looks like that'll be out for a Knights throw.
Trying to find someone downfield. In the end, finding Mercer. Frostburg the first to get ahead on that one. And they do come away with the possession. I've seen a lot of those long passes. They're just trying to play it over the top and beat the back line of the Knights. But Ann Powell very quick. So far, able to keep them out of the back of the net in the second half here.
Yeah, it looks like they're just looking for the quick second goal to kind of try and finalize things. Knights doing a lot better job of staying organized after that first goal.
Yeah, they're just on the other end looking for the equalizer. Oh, we see a big hit there. The ref electing to allow play to continue. We see Auger aim for the far post. It does go wide of the goal on a pretty good attempt, though. The ref definitely having a conversation over the amount of contact on that play. I think that is smart to play the advantage on that one. The Knights do come away with a very good attacking opportunity, just not able to put that one in the side net.
That was a great shot from distance.
Unfortunately, it just curled a little bit more than I think she would have wanted to. If that's a straight shot, that's going in.
Yeah, you can see just inch by inch curling farther and farther from the goal. Long ball down to Barton. Runs out of play for Bobcats goal kick.
Barton able to come away with the possession off the goal kick. Moves towards the middle of the field. Lays it off to Rigby. Now Winterton tries to take it into the corner. Bobcats forced to just clear that away. Knights will have a throw in. Nice take a throw in towards the end line. Not really able to get anything out of that one, but they do come away with yet another throw in. Taken towards Jewel. Tries to bring the ball into the center. Does cross towards the center of the box. A couple Knights in the area just not able to finish again, but only about 8 yards out. That's the perfect opportunity for him there.
Such a good opportunity. Just inches away from being able to put that one in the back of the net. Knights still on the attack. Through ball to Rigby's deflected, and Bobcats recover.
That's the opportunity they've been waiting for all night with two players in the area. Just got to poke that one in the back of the net, and this game's level. Should be worth noting as well, this is the last conference game for these two teams. Both teams still in contention for conference play, for the conference playoffs, rather. And if the Knights come away with a win, they will enter the conference playoffs. If the result is a draw or a loss, they will not make the playoffs. So this game definitely riding high for the Knights. Frostburg, on the other hand, if they were to lose, they would fall to third in the conference. So still in the playoffs, but not as high of seeding for them. So Frostburg's still trying to win this game as much, but the Knights really trying to keep their season alive here with this one. So I'm sure as we enter the last 26 minutes here, you have to start bringing players up. You got to start, you got to get that equalizer, because at this point, if the game finished now, the season's over. So you got to put it all on the line.
Absolutely. You definitely do not want your season to be over. As a player, I'm sure you've experienced that, Sam.
Yeah, there's some very good teams in the Capital Athletic Conference, and in my first season here, we were basically right here. Had a good opportunity if we'd changed the result of just one game at the end, 2 games at the end, could have made the playoffs. So I do know how much these games mean. Southern Virginia does have one more away game at Christendom on Monday, October 30th, but that is a non-conference game. It's really just kind of an after-conference, not scrimmage, exhibition match, I suppose is a better term there. But, this is the last conference game for the Knights, so they really want to, their hearts are in this one.
Yeah, especially for the seniors. You definitely don't want to end on a note of not making the playoffs and kind of losing the last game at home. It's something that they're going to be laying their hearts out for.
And I think we saw earlier in the effort from Cora Jewel on a double slide tackle. The other seniors for the Knights, Shirley Morales-Yan not playing tonight. She has had some trouble with an injury this year that has escalated, and she is unable to suit up, unfortunately. She will be recognized after the game with the other seniors, but Cora Jewel so far, the only senior on the field for the Knights, and really has just done a brilliant job in representing them. Maddie Monson as well, another senior, yet to enter tonight, but it is just, there's so much heart in this team, and they don't want to go out on a losing note.
And as a player, Sam, how much more does it mean when you've got these seniors that you've battled with for a full season now, or maybe a couple seasons, and you're sad to see them leave, and you want to do so much to help them win their last game at home as a Knight. What does that do to you as a player?
That's a good point as well, especially because the Knights roster is pretty filled with underclassmen. They have a few juniors, but by and large, quite a few freshmen, quite a few sophomores as well. So, they're looking for these shoes to fill. The Knights had a pretty good senior core last year as well, trying to replace some of the best seniors they've had. Tatiana Monson, Riley Anderson, among those. Tatiana Monson, one of the leading scorers in school history for the Knights. So, they recognize that they need players to step up and get those goals, and I think Allie Rigby, Taylor Mercer, Clarissa Barton done a good job in trying to fill those roles. So I think, with the loss of a Cora Jewel or a Shirley Morales-Yan, those are positions that need to be filled. So you can see some of them already trying to fill those shoes. We've seen, out on the wing, Clarissa Barton in the same position as Morales-Yan. So she's trying to play that role, and I think, Cora Jewel in the midfield, she's just such a physical player. She has a huge presence as well. She's probably had 90% of the headers today. So, you want to do anything you can to obviously try to hook them up with a goal if you can. Mercer's already had a couple of corners head towards Jewel. But, the effort is really just what makes the difference. You're just more willing to make that run or, do the little things that I think really the Knights need in order to try to find this equalizer. So it definitely brings the energy and, in the leadership that the seniors have shown, you're willing to put more on the line for them.
Absolutely. That would mean a lot to the seniors to be able to leave on a good note. So
I'm sure we'll continue to see the effort just escalate more and more as one of the seniors for the Knights on the ball here tries to play it over to Rigby. And I think the Bobcats as well, recognizing they don't necessarily need to score, but they can't let the Knights get one here. So I think rather than just try to continue the attack, you've almost seen them kind of fall back and just take those long shots over the top and just try to get a quick one. But the build-up hasn't really necessarily been there. They've more just been focused on possessing the ball. So That's a dangerous game to play. A lot of teams kind of fall prey to that, and then once you get scored on, you all of a sudden have to turn up the pressure again. But the Knights obviously on the other end trying to just keep the pressure on this entire time. Now Rigby with a decent opportunity here if she can get away. The Bobcats keeping a lot of pressure on 2 defenders in the area. Will be a throw-in for the Knights.
Well, Sam, with about 20 minutes left, when do you expect to kind of see those tactical changes and the Knights start to push up a little bit more?
Well, it looks like they're bringing on Emma Schroeder right now. She's a midfield player coming on for Barton. An interesting role. Schroeder definitely does a little bit more work in the middle of the field. Barton primarily up the sideline, so there may be an attempt to try to control the ball through the middle, which they've done well tonight. So Coach Cox obviously knows her bench and is trying to make the right substitution. I'm sure we'll see Barton re-enter the game as well, as she's had such a good season. But, you're already getting pretty close to wanting to push some people up. At 15 minutes, I'm switching out one of my defenders and moving someone upfield, though, for sure. For the next 5 minutes, maybe see what Schroeder brings. Obviously, the Bobcats as well, trying to counter that. Bringing on number 5, Kelly Richards. Forward, junior. Interesting decision there from the Bobcats. But I think within the next couple minutes, if I'm Coach Cox, I'm having some of my midfielders and strikers warming up. They got to be ready to go in and get a goal.
Absolutely. I'm almost expecting, as the Bobcats have just been playing those long balls over the top, almost makes you just want to keep maybe Emma Landy a little bit above half and then just kind of keep Ann Powell with their forward and let the outside backs push up a little bit more and make the Bobcats play with a really short field rather than being able to turn with possession right here and have all that time to do something else.
Yeah, I think if I'm Coach Cox, bring Landy back, keep Ann Powell in the middle, and then maybe Cyan Smith over on the left wing. She's done a really good job, especially as you get later into the game. If the result still is what it is, you got to start sending up Smith as well. She's done really good in the attack, and you just have to kind of trust that those 2 defenders in the back, because otherwise, your season's over. So if it comes down to it, I have run just 1 defender, and then everyone else is just trying to score. It is incredibly taxing and difficult, but if anyone could do it, I'd pick Ann Powell for it. So, there's still 18 minutes left in the game, still plenty of time for the Knights to get a goal, and you've seen a lot of pressure from them, but you got to start thinking about those tactics moving ahead. Mercer with a shot from a few yards off the 18. Again, it's not a bad shot. It's pretty good. You saw, a little more power on that, and maybe you have it, but you really want to see him work it in more. That's still a 25, 28-yard shot. That's just too much time for Emily Faust to respond. So, again, they're really trying tonight, but those long range just haven't worked for them so far.
Well, it's hard to get power on that from that far out to really make the goalie have to kind of guess which way it's going or make a mistake. There's just so much time to react.
Yeah, especially as she was really just turning. She wasn't running onto it or anything. That's just a turn and shoot from 28 yards away. That's a very difficult shot. It's unable to connect on that one. We do see Landy bring the ball up. Now the Bobcats do come away with the clearance. Good move there by Kira Tolbert to open up the middle of the field. Landy trying to play the ball down into the corner.
I like the idea. That was definitely a good ball, a good opportunity. Just had a little bit too much on it.
Yeah, just a little bit too far into the middle, but you can see the intent is there for the Knights. They're trying to score here. It's like the Bobcats making a couple more substitutions. Bobcats using those substitutions to try to take a few seconds off the clock, and also, I think as you mentioned earlier, really, as they have just played the ball over the top, if you can get someone with fresh legs coming in, looks like they're trying to test the fresh legs there. Willette able to come away with that one, and she doesn't look too happy with her back line, as really the Bobcats were the only players in the area.
Looks like some confusion on the marking and who had who. Fortunately for the Knights, another big save from the keeper.
Knights need to settle this one and try to come away with it. They are able to do so, but now they need to try to find a better way to work it down into the attacking third, and I'm not entirely certain what do you think is the best strategy that they haven't tried yet?
I'm not sure. The back line is about 10 yards deep from the rest of from the outside backs, and that's just kind of allowing the Bobcats to open up the field and keep possession a little bit better. I'd like to see, like I said, I'd like to see Emma Landy step up about 5 to 10 yards in front of Ann Powell. And if they're going to try and play a ball over the top and try and beat Ann Powell in a foot race, then so be it. Because if I'm the coach, I trust Ann Powell, and I don't think anybody's going to beat her.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, and that may be what they have to resort to here. Just under 15 minutes left, because that's basically the best opportunity you have. They have trusted Ann Powell all season, and she's done a brilliant job. So at this point, they got to start moving people up. It looks like the substitution to bring Schroeder onto the field, she's almost playing that defensive mid in the middle, but the defensive mid may not be enough. I think bring Barton back out, put her on the sideline, and then just trust that someone can get the ball to her. And she's done pretty well as well, getting up the sidelines and really getting some crosses in. She has 3 assists on the season, so you got to trust your players.
Having that defensive mid there is nice as far as stopping any outlet passes, but you still got to have the outside backs pushing up a little bit more to stop anything coming out on those sides, which is where the Bobcats have been finding those passes to clear the ball out.
Looks like Barton is re-entering the game, coming on for Mercer, which is an interesting substitution. I'm sure Mercer's just about to get a 2 or 3 minute break at most. Maybe some coaching change of tactics from Coach Cox, and then I'm sure we'll see her re-enter the game.
Yeah, as one of the leading scorers for the Knights, I don't expect to see her off the field for very long in crunch time.
Yeah, especially as quite a few of her goals have come in the later portions of the halves as well. Within the last 10 minutes, she scored quite a few, so I'm sure we'll see her re-enter. Maybe a quick conversation with Coach Cox, get some water, and then come back in. You almost wonder if that's just a fatigue substitution, because she's a very active player. She's made quite a few runs, but this late in the season, you got to have the conditioning taken care of. So with 13 minutes remaining, that's not when you want to be subbing people out. That's when they should be, kicking it into high gear.
Yeah, especially with so much on the line tonight. Definitely an adrenaline booster, I guess. I almost think it'd be harder to come off the field at this point than it would be to stay in. Just the mentality and the emotion that goes into it.
Yeah, even if you're tired, I'd rather stay on the field, stay engaged, than take a second off. That's the last thing I want to do here, but it's Coach Cox's team. She knows her players. Maybe that's just the spark that they need. Get a little bit of energy.
Get her freshened up a little bit.
Maybe have some Skittles on the sideline. Marshawn Lynch.
Or like Messi with his glucose tablets.
Hey, everybody has their methods. I'm not familiar with all of the Knights. Maybe Coach Cox is. Long range shot there. Goes just to the right of the goal. Kylie Auger again really trying to test Emily Faust from 30-plus yards away, but the Knights are going to need something better than that tonight.
That one had a lot of power behind it, that's for sure. I guess kind of from those long-range shots, what you would hope is just to get it on frame. Maybe the keeper doesn't get a good hand on it, doesn't catch the ball, drops it in front of the goal. Somebody's there for a rebound. Besides that, I'd really just like to see the Knights keep working it inside.
Yeah, I agree. Those shots, especially when they're not on frame, don't really benefit a whole lot aside from Frostburg gets 30 seconds off the clock with these goal kicks, which I'm sure we're seeing here. Change in sides, take it as far away from there as possible.
Yeah, especially the Knights have done such a good job these last really 15, 20 minutes of just keeping possession and pinning the Bobcats deep.
Yeah, and I think the only creativity left for the Bobcats is time wasting strategies. We saw a little bit there, moving the goal kick to the other side, and I definitely have used that one quite a few times. And you can actually move it back, and usually the ref will let you get away with it. So,
yeah. As long as you don't do it too many times.
Yeah, I think 2 is about the max, and Frostburg has yet to get a card on the season. This may be the moment to do so. So this is very surprising to me that they haven't. But, a yellow card for taking 40 seconds off the clock in a game like this is, one that a coach wouldn't be too upset by, I think.
That's a pretty unusual statistic. I don't think I've personally ever gone a full season without getting a card, let alone a whole team. That's I don't think I've ever seen that. That is crazy.
And the Knights, on the other hand, only one on the season. Cora Jewel, the only recipient of a yellow card. She only has 1, so that is a little bit surprising, especially as in years past she has earned a few more than that, I believe. Ongoing joke, really, with the team. She was a yellow card for Halloween one year, so that's a little bit unusual for the Knights team, but I guess as you move into your senior year, a little more experience, and you learn how to tackle better or something.
Something like that. As a physical player like Cora Jewel, it's tough not to receive those cards sometimes, especially when you have players come in that are a little bit smaller, I guess you could say, and a little bit easier for Cora to push around and kind of have her way with.
Yeah, she is a 5'10", so that's why she gets most of the headers as well. And maybe it was her time in Brazil. Maybe she learned how to, control the ball better. Did serve a mission in Rio, so maybe she just saw it and, made some changes. Who knows?
Physicality probably came from the time on the streets as well. Had to learn to defend herself in Rio.
Tell us about that, Jackson. What's Brazil like?
It's great. There's not a place like it on earth.
I would believe that. Bobcats getting a good opportunity here. Unable to control it. It will be a Knights goal kick. I think maybe too many substitutions and new sub coming on there and not able to keep her foot on that one. The Knights, on the other hand, Taylor Mercer re-entering the game and McCall Jensen as well. So Coach Cox definitely trying to keep the possession going for them. With only 8 minutes left, though, and you kind of start getting into the desperation mode. You need a goal here if you want to keep this conference season alive.
And not just one, you need 2.
Yeah, 7 minutes, 30 seconds left. That's a tall order, but this Knight squad has put together some pretty good goals late in games, so I do believe they're capable of it, but they need numbers upfield if they're going to do that. You need every advantage you can get. It's like Barton with a good move to open the center of the field up, continues the run. Just nobody there for her. She's just not able to find anyone on that.
That's where you'd really like to see Cyan Smith getting up the field and getting involved in that play. That's kind of like we talked about earlier, just getting those outside backs more involved in the play.
Yeah, I think really if Cyan Smith moves up on that when she's wide open on the sideline, Frostburg hasn't done too well. They give her a lot of space sometimes, so if she moves up, she's into the 18 and really can get across or whatever they need in that situation. But yeah, those outside backs really just need to move upfield, and you wonder if that's an error from the outside back, if Coach Cox has told them to stay back, or they just not recognizing the potential there.
Well, you can see Frostburg, they're kind of hanging their forward rather than sitting in the middle of the field like a traditional forward would. They're kind of sitting up on that back side, almost trying to keep Cyan Smith from doing that. Cyan's had a lot of good runs tonight for the Knights, created a lot of pressure on the Bobcats.
Yeah, and I think for the Bobcats, they have brought back quite a few defenders. You see the back four there, but then you saw 4 other midfielders playing pretty conservatively as well. They do recognize that if the result were to stay as is, they would take second in the Capital Athletic Conference, only behind the undefeated still Christopher Newport.
And that's, well, for the Bobcats, that's a big difference between second and third place. As far as seeding goes, you never know. The Knights getting in on top of the 18, unable to keep possession. Looked like a good chance for the Knights.
It's another one of those chances they need. They didn't take the shot from outside on that one, and they were able to work it in, but Bobcats just bunched up and didn't allow any space through there. Now I see Mercer take another long-range shot. She has about 4 players in front of her, though. That, they've been going back and forth with that one, but you really want to see him work it in easily 10 or 15 more yards with 3 or 4 players ahead of her. It's a real possibility. I think the Knights just really want that first goal out of the way, though.
That's another tough one, and as the Bobcats start to cram more defenders back in deep, keeping possession up with that short field becomes that much harder.
Knights doing a good job getting the ball into the attacking third quickly. Still, Rigby unable to come out with the ball on that one.
Ball takes an unfortunate bounce over the Knights defender, and Powell able to recover, and the Knights move forward again.
Looks like Jewel conceding a foul for the Bobcats just before midfield. I'm sure we'll see plenty of time come off the clock here. Ball's played in towards the middle. And the Knights are the first to get a touch on it, and they're able to come away with possession. Now bringing the ball quickly upfield. Trying to play it in towards Mercer in the corner. Bobcats just shielding out of bounds.
Good job by Mercer keeping that ball deep. Not allowing the Bobcats to play it out. Bobcats taking their time, though. Just killing that clock.
Yeah, between the free kick and the throw-in, a minute has come off the clock, so I'm sure the time management is their priority right now.
If I'm a player, though, I'm screaming at the ref, telling him to make her jog over. She's just walking over to the sideline to take that throw.
Yeah, absolutely. The ref also aware of the strategy, but sometimes just by, addressing it, he can force him to speed it up a little bit.
Bobcats wisely trying to keep the ball down in the corner. Big foul. That was a tough tackle.
That's the closest they may get to a yellow card this season. I think that may have warranted one, and if we weren't in the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I think we would have seen one there.
To be honest, I'm kind of surprised we're not. Looks like the ref's calling the player over from Frostburg. Or actually, he's taking Emma Landy over to the sideline.
I'm kind of surprised by that one. I think, honestly, if Landy had stayed down, we may have seen it addressed a little bit more. The ref definitely concerned. She hit the back of her head, and so maybe concerned about a concussion potentially. Landy did get up pretty quickly, though. It seemed like she was ready to play again very quickly. I'm not totally certain.
I'm sure she's pretty frustrated with that. But the overall wellness of the players sometimes comes first. Unfortunately for Landy, she's played such a good game tonight for the Knights.
Yeah, I'm staying on the field there if I can. I'm not letting the ref just push me off the field, but he does have a say in concussion protocol and that type of thing. So player safety is one of their biggest concerns, and that's just unfortunate. But the Knights bring on Airdrie Palmer, who makes a pretty good run up the side here. Knights really just trying to keep the pressure down in the attacking third, but they need to open up some space. The Bobcats playing a very deep line. I'll try to take advantage of that. Now Ann Powell chasing the ball towards her own goal, trying to just clear it out. Now Tolbert takes the throw in for the Knights toward Jensen.
Jensen does an awesome job with a defender at her back, just shielding the ball and waiting for her teammates to move upfield.
Unfortunately, time not on their side here in the last 75 seconds of the game, so she has done a very good job of that all season. Bobcats clearing that one away as far as possible. Now Rigby trying to find another player. Does connect with Kira Tolbert, bringing the ball up the sideline. Looks in towards the middle, towards Mercer, who tries to flick it back out to Barton. Does come away with possession for the Knights here. Looks like it'll be a throw-in about as deep in the corner as you could possibly get. Taken quickly towards Jewel. Mercer with a cross towards the top of the box. Falls to Auger. Takes a left-footed shot. That ends up in the hands of Emily Faust. I'd be surprised if we didn't see most of the remaining time come off of the clock here.
Yeah, this one's a heartbreaker for the Knights. A super unfortunate goal. One that really was, luck was kind of on the side for the Bobcats. The Knights so close to being able to stay in that playoff race. Unfortunately, just fall a little bit short.
Yeah, not the result they were looking for, despite really, especially at the end there, having a pretty good amount of possession, pretty good amount of passes. They were able to keep their spacing and formation pretty well. So, despite a pretty good second half from them, just not able to get the result that they wanted. And they do fall 1-0 to Frostburg State. Frostburg State maintains their number 2 seeding in the Capital Athletic Conference, moved to 7-1-1 in the conference and 8-7-2 on the season. Your Southern Virginia Knights falling to 3-5-1 in conference and 6-9-2 on the season. So they do have one more game remaining at Christendom Monday, October 30th at 4 p.m., but that will do it for conference play.
Great job by the Knights tonight, taking on the number 2 team in the conference. And really a debatable game. It's pretty, that's a tough loss. Knights are so close to coming away with a tie or even a win. You definitely tell that the Knights just laid it all out on the field tonight. A lot of heart was in that game.
Yeah, I think the score not necessarily indicative of the type of game that the Knights played. They weren't able to come away with the goal. Frostburg was, although it's hard to say that it was, the goal that they really worked for and earned. So they were able to put one past Ouellette on a kind of unfortunate turn of events. But it's so hard to say that the 1-0 score is, how the game went. Obviously, that is the result. That's the turnout. But I think if you were to look at the effort and a lot of the stats, the Knights really dominated so many aspects of this game. And I think maybe settling for some of those long-range shots really just made it difficult for them.
Unfortunately, that's how soccer goes. A lot of the times you can see teams completely dominate an entire game, the full 90 minutes, and still come away with an unfortunate error, or a lucky goal, or whatever it might be. And that's how it ended up tonight for the Knights.
And for those of you watching at home, we appreciate your continued watching throughout the season. As we mentioned at the start of the broadcast, this is the senior night. This is the last home game for these seniors here, so they will be recognized. And we see the athletic director, Jason Lamb, out on the field, able to recognize these players, the whole team as well, to thank them for their continued hard work and effort to build this program here. So we will be recognizing those seniors, and just for those of you at home can learn a little bit about them. We'll be sharing just some of their off-field efforts as well. Quite a few of these Knights have done so well. On the field, you've seen, the effort and the hard work. Sometimes some of the academic endeavors, rather, a little bit less noticed. So tonight they will be recognized both athletically and academically. So good to see a couple of their parents making it out here as well. They will be escorting their player out tonight, and we have just a little bio for them as well. We'll be reading as they are recognized. The first senior being recognized tonight, Shirley Morales-Yan. Shirley came to Southern Virginia from Orem, Utah. She has 3 siblings. She enjoys working out and spending time at the beach. She's double majoring in biology and biochemistry. She's been listed on the provost list and named to the Capital Athletic Conference All-Academic Team. During her 4 seasons here as a midfielder, Shirley appeared in 44 games, started 7. She has 1 career goal against Chowan and an assist last year against Sweetbriar. This season, Shirley has recorded 3 shots on goal. She is escorted tonight by her mother, Nikki Liston, and her father, Arturo Morales-Yan, and her boyfriend, Danny Nelson, as well. So we appreciate Shirley and all the effort that she has put in during her time here. Unfortunately, she was not able to play tonight, but that's far from the amount of effort that we've seen. She's one of the best wings that the Knights have had this season, and she just leaves it all out on the field. The next senior is Cora Jewel. Cora's played soccer at Southern Virginia University for 4 seasons as a midfielder. During her time here, she's appeared in 68 games, starting in 53 of those games. She's tallied 11 career goals, with 5 of them this season, many of which were due to headers as well. Throughout 4 seasons, she's also recorded 7 assists for the team. During 2014 and 15, she served a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. The Highland, Utah native enjoys watching the Utah Jazz and working in athletic communications here at the school. She'll graduate in May with a dual degree in family and child development and psychology. Cora is escorted tonight by her mother, Kat Jewel. We appreciate so much the effort that she has put in as well. She's really been a captain and a leader for the Knights, not just in the midfield, but on and off the field. She's really done so well. She's brought so much just hustle and mental exertion as well to the Southern Virginia squad, and we appreciate so much the effort that she has put in here during her time at Southern Virginia University. Seniors tonight being recognized with photos of the team and an individual portrait, also flowers. Although those are just mere tokens, all the seniors in their time here have built up wonderful relationships and some wonderful attributes as well. You can see the team really has absolutely just embraced these seniors for their leadership and for what they provide off the field as well. You see the entire athletic department getting involved. Jason Lamb, you see assistant coach, Coach Graurock, the former head coach who coached many of these players and still continues to as the assistant coach, Coach Cox as well. Done a wonderful job. Played with a few of the players here as well. So again, we appreciate so much what the seniors have done for the Southern Virginia University program. This has been the last home game and the last conference game of their season. They do have one more remaining game at Christendom, Monday, October 30th at 4 p.m. So for myself, Sam Horman, Jackson Hatch, Craig Reese, and the rest of the broadcasting crew, we thank you so much for your continued watching this season. And as always, go Knights.